Welcome. We're glad you guys are here this morning. If you are a guest and you're joining us, we're glad you decided to hang out with us. My name is Pastor Anthony. I'm the executive and outreach pastor here. Pastor Mark and Sarah Lehman actually on a sabbatical, so they will be coming back next week. We're excited. And so we just ask that you continue to pray for them in this last week where they can continue to gain some rest and connect with God on a deeper level. So we thank you for that opportunity for letting them get away. We also want to welcome all of our online viewers that are joining us online. Welcome. Glad you guys are joining us online. Hey, we are wrapping up our 3-week series talking about the word crave. And so if you've missed the first 2 weeks, you can pick it up on our website. You can go to our website and go to previous services. You can watch it on there, or you could watch it on our Flag Church app. And so we've been talking about the word crave. And so just want to catch you up real quick on the whole word of crave, and then we'll kind of go in deeper. But what is crave? Crave is something you long for, something that you desire, something that you beg for. And we have many things that we crave day in and day out from season to season of our life. And there are different things that we crave. And so the question that may be coming up is, why do I crave? Why am I craving the things that I crave? And the reason being is that you were created... Sorry, my clicker. Guys, I'm unable to advance. If you guys can, there we go. Why do I crave? The reason being is that you were created to crave. You and I were created to crave. I'm sorry, guys. My clicker is really not wanting to work. It's sticky. Might be the batteries. You guys might have to advance me. Help me out there. I was created to crave. You and I were created to crave by the Creator. When you were created in God's image, God created you to crave. He created you to crave a relationship with Him. He created you to crave communion with Him. He created you to crave belongingness with Him. He created you to crave intimacy, oneness. God created you and I to crave Him. But what happens is that we see that Satan had a plan. Satan wanted us to crave the things that God created, which God created for us to enjoy. So we see in week 1, we talked about, what do I crave? What is it that I crave? Do I crave God, or do I crave created things? And you can advance that slide, thank you. And then we talked about, how do I uncrave the things that I crave? Okay, that was week 2. Because in Satan's plan, we crave created things. In God's plan, we're supposed to crave Him. So if we are craving created things, then the question is, how do I uncrave Satan's plan? That's what we looked at last week. And last week, we looked at how we can admit, how we should approach God, okay? How we should ask God to forgive us. How we should accept God's forgiveness and what God has given us. And then lastly, how we should act on what God is asking us to do, which is to disconnect from this world, to disconnect from the things of this world, and to connect to Him. And so this week we're going to be looking at, oh, thank you. Look at that. This is why we have a tech team. Now I got to make sure there we go. I like that. Thank you, tech team. Thanks, Pat. So this week we're going to be looking at, how do I uncrave the things of this world and recrave God, because that's what He wants us to do. And we look at the verse in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Romans 12, verse 2, it talks about, do not conform to the patterns of this world. Now, when we are connected to this world, when we are connected to the things of this world, we conform to this world. And the scripture is saying, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, last week or the week before, we talked about how we're going to use this as a vessel. This is your life. And God created you as a vessel. God created you in His own image. But when He created you empty with the intentions of filling you. He wants to fill you. But that happens by you craving and connecting to Him. But unfortunately, with Satan's plan, we sometimes get caught up in the things of this world, and the world starts to fill our vessel with the things of this world. And so the scripture is talking about how we should not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind, which is when we connect to God, He's able to empty out our vessel. He's able to transform our mind to start to see things differently. Because right now we see in a certain way. We see from the world's standpoint. We do not see from God's standpoint. And when we are connected to Him, we start to see things through God's lenses. So, first question, how does my craving Jesus help me? How does my craving Jesus help me? So to kind of illustrate this or to help you understand this, we're going to take a story out of the Bible of a certain woman, and we're going to look at her life and look at how she moved from being disconnected from God and being connected to things of this world, and how it transformed, and then she starts connecting to Jesus and how her life is transformed. So here is this woman. She's a Samaritan woman, okay? And if you know anything about Samaritans in the Bible, the Jews were the chosen ones, right? They were the select. They were the elite. They were the top. They were like ranked up here, whereas the Samaritans were the rejected. They were the no-namers. It's kind of like the Chiefs and the Raiders, right? Any Raiders fans in the house? You're like, I'm done, I'm leaving. Nah. It's like the Chiefs, who are the elite, they think they are. And then you have the Raiders out here. So it's kind of like that. So he's got this Samaritan woman, and she has been married 5 times. She's had 5 husbands, and now she's living with a man that is not her husband. So this is the 6th man that she's been involved with, and so her life is kind of in shambles. It's kind of falling apart. She's looking for identity. She's looking for value. She's looking for purpose. She's trying to connect to find her joy and her fulfillment. And here is the story here. In this town, in Samaria, they did not have running water to their house. Okay, it was this community well that you had to go to. So you travel to the community well, you'll fill your vessel with water, and then you carry it back to your house so you have water. So here is this woman that is getting ready to go to the well. But she also chooses to go during the middle of the day, when in the heat of the day, because that's when very few people are at the well. She did not want to connect with anyone. She wanted to be herself. She was not accepted in community, in the society, because of her lifestyle, and she just wanted to be by herself. So she goes to the well at the middle of the day, in the heat of the day. And during this time, we see that Jesus is traveling through Samaria, and he decides he's going to take a little break. He's hungry, so he tells the disciples, go get some food. I'm going to sit here at the well. I'm going to rest. I'm going to relax while you go get some food. Okay, and so that's where we pick it up. So John chapter 4, verse 7 through 9. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, you are a Jew, and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? For Jews do not associate with Samaritans. So we see here, she's like, hold on, Jesus, you're a Jew. You're up here. I'm Samaritan. Why are you even talking to me? You ask me for water? I mean, we don't even talk. Why are you connecting with me? But we see that Jesus, being a Jew, being elite, being up here, decides he still wanted to connect with the Samaritan woman. He still wanted to connect with her. He wanted to have a conversation with this woman. We see that when she says, will you give me a drink of water? That is an open invitation to, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's just get to know each other. And so he wants to have a conversation with this vessel, with this woman that is rejected in society, that is broken, that is hurt, has no value, that is still looking to find her purpose, has nothing to offer. This vessel that has made a lot of bad choices in her life and is broken. Jesus was wanting to connect or have a conversation with this woman. Your first fill in the blank is Jesus wants to connect with me. Jesus wants to connect with you this morning. Maybe you are that woman that is broken. Maybe you are that woman that is hurt. Maybe you are that person that is trying to find identity, that is trying to find purpose, that says to yourself, I have nothing to offer. I have no value. Or I have made a lot of bad choices and I am messed up. And you're sitting in here going, man, I don't even want to approach God because my understanding of God is this person that is very angry, that wants to punish me, that wants to hurt me, right? No, that's not who this Jesus is. Jesus is wanting to connect with this broken woman that was rejected by society. He was wanting to have a conversation with you. Jesus wants to have a conversation with me. He wants to have a conversation with us. He wants to get to know you in your state that you are right now, in your brokenness. Do you want to connect with Jesus this morning? Do you want to connect with Jesus this morning? So here we go. John chapter 4, we pick it up right there in verse 10. And then Jesus answers her. So she's had this conversation. Now Jesus answers her. If you knew, he says, if you just knew, and that's like a lot of us, if we just knew the gift of God and who is it that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. So here is this woman that is standing in front of Jesus, that has everything that she needs, that can fix all of her problems, that can give her new living water, that can give her hope, that can give her a new identity, that can give her, make her new again, and she did not even see it. She didn't know. She couldn't see. And I don't blame her because she was connected to the world. When we're connected to the world, we see through the eyes of the world. We see through our physical eyes. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But she was seeing what she could see, which was not Jesus. She was not seeing Jesus. And Jesus is saying, hey, woman, you don't see me, do you? You don't know what's standing right in front of you. And that's like a lot of us. We sit here and Jesus is right here wanting to have a conversation, wanting to have a connection, but we don't see it. We are so focused on our things of this world. We are so focused on the worldly problems. We are so focused on our situation, our overwhelming situation, that we miss him. She was coming to him with a physical, she had come there with a physical need, which was to fill her bucket with water because she was thirsty. Jesus was approaching her with a spiritual need that she was lacking, she didn't even know about. So we see here, the next verse, she says, Sir, the woman said, you have nothing to draw and the well is deep. She still doesn't see it. She's still looking at it from the physical need. Where can you get this living water? And she's like, okay, Jesus, okay, I know I'm coming to get water out of this well. What kind of water are you talking about? Do you have some purified Aquafina water or something in a bottle that you're trying to give me? Is that what it is? She's still looking from the physical. She does not see what Jesus is talking about. Then she goes, are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his son and his livestock? So we see that this woman is still not getting it. She does not see it. She just sees the physical. She just sees what she needs. She just sees it from the physical eye. But then Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will thirst again. So if you're connected to the things of this world, that's all fine and good, but guess what? You are still going to be unsatisfied. You're still going to be thirsty. You're still not going to feel like you've been fulfilled. But whoever drinks the water that I give them will never thirst again. Indeed, the water that I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. So Jesus is saying you can stay connected there, or you could choose to take your vessel and get connected to me. And if you get connected to me, now I can give you a different kind of water that is going to lead to eternal life, but also will be satisfying, fulfilling, and making something new out of your life. Jesus was letting this woman know that her cravings were in the wrong place. She was craving to being connected to the things of this world. The things that were temporary, that were giving temporary joy and temporary success. Not something that could give you a permanent, eternal joy and success. He let her know that her cravings were still going to leave her thirsty, and that they were not going to fulfill what she needed. And what she needed is that she needed to crave Jesus. Jesus wants me to crave him. Jesus wants you to crave him. Because when we crave him, we are connected to him. When we are connected to him, he's able to fill our vessel with what he wants to fill us with. And that is what fulfills us. Are you craving him this morning? Or are you craving and connecting to the things of this world? We keep going in verse 15. The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty. Give me this water." So she's curious now. She's curious. She's like, "Oh, I want this water. This is good. I want this." But here's the thing. She still sees from the physical need. Because here's what she says. She says, "Give me this water so I don't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." She's all focused on, you know what? Man, maybe Jesus is going to give me this living water, this well that he's talking about, that is going to constantly fill me up, and I don't have to come to fill my vessel here at the well, right? So she's seeing from the physical. But that's okay. She sees from the physical because she has a need. Sometimes we connect to God out of desperation, and that's okay. God just wants us to connect to him. She was desperate in this moment of thirst, and she was willing to open the door to have a conversation. She's like, "Okay, you know what, God, just give me that water. Let me check it out. Let me see what this water is all about." Okay? And that's where sometimes we need to start. It may not make sense to our lives. It wasn't making sense to this woman. She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about, but give me this water. Let me try it." And maybe that's where you are this morning. You are like, "Man, this doesn't make sense. Here is my situation. Here is where I am. Here is what I've got. And you're telling me this Jesus can fix this problem for me? That doesn't make any sense. I don't even see this Jesus. I don't even know who he is. I've never had a conversation with him. I mean, he's so distant. All I've heard is that he wants to punish me." But he's saying, "Hey, have a conversation." And she's like, "Okay, give me this water. Let me try it out." Do you want what Jesus has for you this morning? Do you want what he has? It may not make sense to you. It may not make sense to you. It may be out of desperation. But what he has is going to make you a better person. That's going to take you from one state, which is of state of unfulfilled, always thirsty, looking for more, to a fulfilled, God's filling me up, focus on him, joy, peace, happiness that comes from knowing him. So she makes the connection to Jesus by saying, "You know what, give me that water, let me try it out." And guess what? Jesus goes to work. Jesus is like, "You know what, woman, you're coming with a physical need, but I'm going to address the true need, which is a spiritual need. I'm going to go to the root cause." See, we always focus on the side effects, or all of the things that come, and we look at the surface, we see all of the challenges, but there is a root cause to every problem that we have. And Jesus is like, "Okay, I know you're coming with the physical, that's all cool, but let me address the root cause." And here we go. And he told her, "Go call your husband and come back." And she's like, "Uh-oh." And what does she say? "I have no husband," she replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say that you have no husband. The fact is that you have 5 husbands, and the man that you have is not your husband. What you have said is quite true." So Jesus is addressing the situation. He's actually trying to take care of what's inside of the vessel right now, the things that she has filled her vessel with. But here is where it becomes the key. Here is the key point of this verse. And this is the changing of how things change in our lives. And this is crucial, and we need to understand this point, because when we understand this point, it kind of transforms our whole life. And here's what it said. Sir, the woman said, "I can see that you are a prophet." I can see. That is a crucial 3 words right there. I can see. Because here's the thing. Before, all she could see was from her physical eye. And she did not know who this Jesus was. She did not know who this person was. She's like, "What kind of water are you trying to give me? I mean, I'm coming for I have a physical need." But now she says, "Hold on. I kind of get to see something here. I see that you are a prophet." Now, she doesn't clearly see because she calls him a prophet. But she's kind of starting to see. And this is how we are, guys. We have a physical eye and we have a spiritual eye. And a lot of us are dead to our spiritual eye. The reason is because we have been connected so long to the things of this world that our spiritual eye is dead. So when it comes to the things of God, we do not see the things of God. We do not understand the things of God. We don't understand the way God moves because it doesn't make sense. But when we start getting connected to the Creator, when we start getting connected, what He starts to do is He starts to come in and takes your vessel and He starts to do surgery. He starts to clean out your vessel. And when He starts to clean out your vessel, there is room, there is space, there is margin for Him to come into your life. And when He starts coming into your life, and the more He starts to fill you with Himself, the crazy thing is your spiritual eye starts to open up. You start to see, you start to understand this God. You start to see who He really is. And she says, you know what? I can see that you are a prophet. Now, it's still kind of blurry. It's still not very clear. But the fact that she said, give me that water, opened the door for God to start doing surgery, which in turn, she starts to see. Not from her physical eye, which doesn't make sense, but from her spiritual eye of seeing who God really is. Jesus wants to clean me. Jesus wants to clean you. He wants to take your vessel and He wants to scrub it out. He wants to empty it so there's room so that He can fill you back up, so you can understand His plan for your life, so that you can see through your spiritual eye as to who He really is. Here's where it gets really interesting. See what happens now. Then, leaving her her water jar, the woman went back to the town. She leaves the water jar. Here's the crazy thing. She comes with her water jar because guess what? She has a physical need. She tells Jesus, give me this water so I can stop coming to the well because I don't want to keep coming to this well to fill my jar of water. What does she do? She leaves her jar there and she runs back to the village. She's running back to the people that she did not want to connect with either. She came in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day, so she wouldn't connect with people. And she's running back to the village. And what does she do? She goes and says, come see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be moves from a prophet to now what? A Messiah. Her eyes are getting opened. Her spiritual eyes being opened. She sees totally different person now. But here's the crazy thing. She left her physical need to follow what? Her spiritual need, which is being connected to the Messiah. And how did this all start? By saying, let me try that water. I don't get it. I don't understand all of this stuff, but let me just connect and see what happens. And the moment that happens, Jesus has a way of starting to clean us out. He starts to open our eye. He starts to show us who He is. And out of that, we start to build a relationship, and we leave our physical needs, and we start following the spiritual. What happened in this woman's life? Here's this woman that was trying to stay away from people, trying to find a quiet place where she could not be, where she would not encounter people. She gets excited. She has a new hope. She has life again. She has drive. She has new direction. She wants people to get to know this Jesus. She's excited again. Is that you this morning? Do you need that excitement? Do you need that new drive? Do you need that new life? Do you need that new focus? Do you need hope? Do you need value in your life? It starts by acting. She had to take that first step, action step, where she said, you know what? Give me that water. Let me try it. You got to start by disconnecting from the things of this world and giving it a shot by connecting to the Creator, even though when it doesn't make sense. Because when we connect, He's able to come in and start cleaning out our vessel. And when He starts cleaning out our vessel, then He starts to fill us with Him. When He starts to fill us with Him, now we start to see through our spiritual eye. And when we start to see through our spiritual eye, then it starts to make sense. And then we see a prophet and then a Messiah. So how does it help me? It helps me by making me a new person, transforming my mind, renewing to be able to understand God's plan for my life, giving me new focus and new hope. Moving on. How does my craving Jesus help others? Because here's the thing, Jesus put us on this planet not just for us. We can live just for us, but then we will die just by ourselves. He made us and created us so that we could fill ourselves, we could overflow with Him. And when we overflow with Him, now we become contagious and we are able to connect others to Jesus. Our communities, our neighborhoods, our families, our schools, our workplaces. So let's look and see how that all happens. So we pick it up, verse 29. Many of the Samaritans from the town believed in Him because of the woman's testimony. I shouldn't have two clickers up here. Used the wrong one. Many of the Samaritans from the town believed in Him because of the woman's testimony. Now here is the woman that was rejected, that had a lifestyle that was not accepted by the society. And this woman's testimony is what causes people to believe. How many of you are sitting in this room going, oh, I have nothing to offer. How can I reach people? Look at my life. My life's a mess. My life's broken. My life cannot be a testimony for Jesus. How can I reach people? This woman who had 5 husbands, living with the 6th, is the one that ignites this community for Jesus. Not the Bible scholar that went to college for 4 years. Look at Jesus' disciples. They were not Bible scholars that went to college for 4 years to learn the Bible, right? Jesus uses everyone. Nothing against education. I'm not saying that you don't want to do that. You want to. But God is able to use if you are willing to connect. Her craving to the Creator caused her to be contagious. She was contagious in her community. You could be contagious in your community if you would just connect to the Creator. It doesn't end there, it just gets even better. She says, He told me everything I ever did. So when the Samaritans came to Him, they urged Him to stay with them. And He stayed 2 days. And because of His word, many more became believers. So here is a woman that was the outcast, that had no hope, that was the rejected, that was broken, that had no value, that was going, wow, what can I do? I'm going to hide in a hole. And here is this woman that is able to bring Jesus into a community. Why? Because she connected. Because she said, give me that water. Because she became contagious. Now the community is receiving Jesus, and guess what happens? Jesus walks in and He takes care of business, right? The whole community believes in Jesus. Her connection to the Creator caused the community to connect. Which community do you need to have connected to Jesus right now? Is it your workplace? Is it your family? Is it your school? Is it your neighborhood? Are you connected? Are you craving the Creator so that your community can start craving the Creator? It doesn't end there. It gets even better. This is the power of being connected to the Creator. They said to the woman, this is awesome, I love this part. We no longer believe just because of what you said. Now we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this man really is the Savior of the world. What just happened? She just connected them. Now they're not just connected. Now they have experience for themselves. So what has happened is Jesus has got into their vessel and has started to clean them out. And they're going, hold on. I have already tasted and seen that He's good. I know this Jesus now. For myself, not because you told me, but because I have experienced it Himself. Their connectivity to the living water led to their conversion. A community is being converted because a woman that was broken, that had no hope, that had no value, that was hiding from the community, that did not know who Jesus was looking at that, and what kind of water are you talking about? That just said, yes, give me that living water, now has transformed a community who is on fire for Jesus. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and stay connected to the things of this world, or are you going to get connected to the Creator and see what happens and where God takes you? Here is a woman that had a physical need, but truly had a spiritual need, and Jesus knew that. Here's a woman that came looking at the things on the surface, but Jesus says, let's look deeper. There's a problem in here. Let's take care of it. Let's work together. Here is a woman that was looking at the earthly well, and God is saying, let me give you the spiritual well so that you don't thirst again. Where are you? Are you craving Jesus this morning? Or are you still trying to find value, joy, happiness, success in the things of this world? I'm going to have the worship team do this. He's going to do this song for us, but I'm going to have you guys stay seated. And I want you to listen to the words of this song. And I want this song to minister to you. And I also want you to look at the imagery on the screen. So worship team, lead us out.